What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since '03 and starting to get cautiously optimistic about this Pistons team. The Detroit Pistons are back in action tonight at 8 p.m. local time on the road to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. In this video, we are going to go through and talk about three things from tonight's game that I will be looking to observe, talk about what I think the ticket to winning the game will be, and then towards the back half of the video, just talk about the team in general and kind of some of the repercussions of this game, win or lose, and why I think this game is one of the more important ones that we have played to date. So, to kick things off, the first thing that I will be paying close attention to is, of course, just Ausar Thompson in general as he's playing his second game back in action. I think that Ausar is one of the most important players on this team potentially going forward because of opportunities like he has tonight in slowing down one of the best guards in the league in Ja Morant. Ja Morant was out with an injury for parts of the past couple weeks, but he returned to action as well earlier this week, and I think that there is nobody on this team better suited to slow down Ja Morant than Ausar Thompson. Of course, you can't really expect Ausar, especially in his second game back, to come in and just completely shut him down, but at the end of the day, if he can even slow him down, hold him under his averages, and make it a little bit harder for Ja to do Ja things, like just creating paint touches out of nothing, then that's a net positive, and something that I think there's nobody better suited on this entire roster to do than Ausar Thompson. One of the other things that I'll be paying close attention to with Ausar is just whose minutes he takes. I think that we've covered this pretty well on this channel already, kind of assuming that Wendell Moore will be completely out of the rotation going forward, and that Ron Holland's minutes and potentially Simone's minutes will be cut down, but that is also just kind of a side note and storyline to this whole thing that I'll be watching for. So, moving on, the second thing I'll be paying close attention to is Jalen Duren, because I think that he played his best game of his season last game. I think that there is a lot to like there, and I also think that this could potentially be a good matchup for him to keep the positive momentum rolling. I know that Jalen Duren distinctively and almost famously at this point has struggled against stretch fives. The Grizzlies are in kind of a weird situation where Jaren Jackson Jr. is a stretch big who can step outside, space the floor, and shoot it, but they don't always use him at the five. There's other guys on this roster, such as Zach Edey and Jay Huff, that are more traditional bigs that I think Duren would fare better against, and I think that there might be long stretches of minutes where he is on the floor, while those guys are as well, setting him up for the potential of good success and keeping this positive momentum rolling. We'd love to see Jalen Duren have another big game tonight, and I think that this could be a matchup for him to do so. So, moving on, the next thing that I am going to be paying close attention to is, can Marcus Sasser and also Jaden Ivey continue to carry the load without Cade? As of right now, Cade Cunningham is listed as doubtful for the game tonight. I would bet a lot of money on the fact that he probably does not play tonight, which makes me interested to see on how Marcus Sasser and Jaden Ivey can do in just being those guys offensively. I think that for the most part, last game, they did a pretty good job of that. I know that Jaden Ivey finished the game with like 25 points. Not entirely sure where Sasser finished in that department, but he was able to step in and knock down some shots, which is realistically all you could ask for out of Marcus Sasser as he's getting extended minutes in Cade's absence. I don't think that either Ivey or Sasser can bring all of the things to the table that Cade does from a playmaking perspective, from a steady mid-range scoring, get us a bucket when we're on a little bit of a drought perspective. But all in all, I have been impressed with Marcus Sasser and Jaden Ivey in the time they played without Cade, and just really going to be paying close attention to see if they can keep that up, because all in all, we will need it. There's really no other way around it, because if Sasser and Ivey are both struggling on getting us into our sets and creating opportunities in the half court, then it's probably going to be an unsuccessful game, because if they're not doing it, there's nobody else on this team who will. So, to talk about the ticket to win, personally, I'm pretty high on this Memphis Grizzlies team. I think that the Memphis Grizzlies have done an incredible job of building up their team. They have dealt with as many injuries as any contender or top of the West or East type of team over the past couple of years, and they still managed to do pretty well when they've been dealing with these injuries. They've found success with young guys like Wells and Edey already, and they always seem to be able to pull dudes out of nowhere like Jay Huff and make them contributors, which is impressive. But they're at full health, and I think that they're probably a more dangerous team than they get credit for, and their record reflects that because they've done well even with so many injuries. So I think that it's going to be a really difficult game for us to win, but I think if we do win it, it's going to take about as good of a game as we possibly could play without Cade, and I think that a lot of that rests on not turning the ball over and not having a bad shooting night. I think that if the Pistons happen to win this game against the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm down here recording a recap video in roughly 12 hours, I believe that the story of the game will be, wow, Beasley and Hardaway shot the hell out of the ball tonight. Wow, we did a really good job in not turning the ball over, especially considering that Cade wasn't here to get us into our sets and create offense for himself. I think that those things are going to have to happen for the Pistons to win tonight, because just playing good defense against a team like the Grizzlies, I don't think will be enough to get it done, because we're going to have to find ways to match their offensive output, which is going to have to come through hitting our three-point shots and not turning the ball over. I know that's pretty simple, but in reality, sometimes basketball can be a simple game. Don't turn the ball over and make a high percentage of threes, and we're going to have a chance to win this thing. And I think that this win would be huge for the team in general, because where we're sitting right now at 8-11 might not be the most impressive record you've ever heard, but that's still good enough to have us kind of in this play-in position currently, and also way better than what we were last year. Currently, with our record of 8-11, we're on pace to win 35 games this season, which I think is a great spot for the team to be right now. Before the season, I know I talked a lot about the goal being 30 wins. As time has gone on and I've seen this play a little bit out and seen this team, I think that 35 wins probably should be the new standard and expectation, because right now they're on the pace to get that, and I really think it's possible, all things considered. So trending in the right direction, beating a team like the Grizzlies, especially now that they're more or less at full health, I feel like it's just a really good opportunity to get some positive momentum rolling, especially considering that before the last game where Jaden Ivey saved us with a game-winning buzzer beater, we had lost 3 in a row. I think that this game against the Grizzlies is a potential to really get that positive momentum trending back in the right direction. So let me know what you guys think. I will be back here with a recap after the game, and I'll catch up with you soon.